No one seems to understand how powerful and strong femininity is. The only way to be strong isn't by protecting and defending and kicking butt and being a slay girl, slay boss babe. The other way to be strong as a woman is through femininity. Femininity is powerful in its own way. Alright, hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin and I run the blog called Mrs. Midwest. If you've been here before, thank you for coming back. And to anyone new in the audience, I am giving you a very warm welcome. Thank you for being here, and let's dive into today's topic, which is femininity is not weak. I have stated this so many times since the genesis of my channel, but I thought it was time for a little refresher. It's been clear to me through the success of this channel in the last 6 months that there is a hunger and a desire for more conversation on femininity. There has been a common and obvious push throughout movies and media and storytelling in general, which places women in very masculine roles. We have female superheroes, we have females in video games, we have female assassins, female spies, females in these historically masculine roles. And while on the surface this seems like a positive thing, more work for more women, more representation for more women, the fact is we are not actually representing femininity when women take on these roles. In fact, it's merely women displaying masculinity, more masculinity. Instead of embracing femininity, Hollywood has embraced women performing masculinity. Not only is there a replacement of men in these stories, but there's also the humiliation of men in a lot of these stories as well. We all know those male characters like Homer Simpson or Phil Dunphy from Modern Family who play roles of very idiotic and stupid father figures. Instead of encouraging women to be feminine and men to be masculine, there seems to be this shift. I don't have a problem with Jane Wayne or a female Batwoman. My problem is the fact that everyone thinks we're celebrating women with those roles when in reality we're celebrating masculinity. Instead of celebrating femininity and feminine women, we celebrate masculine women and masculinity. And while I do think women are on a scale from feminine to masculine and not all women are extremely feminine, I think it's wrong that there is no representation of femininity, there is no celebration of femininity, and typically feminine lifestyle choices or roles are looked down upon as silly and stupid and unintelligent. I know this firsthand. Having been a homemaker for a little less than 2 years, I have met with my fair share of criticism. This is particularly evident in the fact that we have very little romance stories in the past few years. The rom-com has died. Female-centric stories are now based around butt-kicking women instead of soft, tender, feminine women. And that bothers me because butt-kicking women are just as valuable as feminine women, but we don't have that representation. Now, as Jonathan Peugeot from the channel The Symbolic World rightfully pointed out, there are two main ways that femininity and masculinity can come together in a story. First, you have, of course, the obvious one that everyone complains about with the man saving the damsel in distress. The masculine man comes, protects, defends, and saves the feminine woman. We have, of course, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, the classic princess. Even Mario and Princess Peach fall into this. On the converse side, we have femininity saving masculinity. And this is seen in the idea of a feminine woman taming the beast of masculinity. A feminine woman taking that masculine energy and shaping it into compassionate humanity. The influence of feminine energy on masculinity can have powerful transformative effects, as seen in the movies Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, or Princess and the Frog. These are stories where the woman comes in and makes the man's life better. And unfortunately, we are missing that in our modern narrative. There is a missing piece of femininity, and no one seems to understand how powerful and strong femininity is. The only way to be strong isn't by protecting, defending, and kicking butt and being a slay girl, slay boss babe. The other way to be strong as a woman is through femininity. Femininity is powerful in its own way. It is about nurturing the world, having the power to care for something and create space for something to grow and become better. It's about having that touch that creates beauty. It's about having that touch that softens hearts and minds. And it's about having that spirit that captivates others and draws them towards you. Like Helen of Troy. Having that air of femininity is much different than having that aggressive, abrasive masculinity. Now, of course, you can have masculinity as a woman. That's not a problem. You do you, baby. What is a problem is when the media, entertainment, and everyone in the West starts downgrading feminine women, naturally feminine women who are strong in their own way. Femininity is absolutely a strength, but not in the butt-kicking, protecting kind of way, but in a more alluring, nurturing, caring, special kind of way. When we remove women from feminine stories and insert them into masculine stories, we fail to recognize the strength and beauty of femininity. Elevating masculinity to that degree downgrades femininity, but it also creates this narrative that masculinity is the only proper way to be a strong human. The thing about femininity and masculinity, it's not a good or bad or a right or wrong kind of thing. They are merely different essences and strategies for living in this world. And the only strategy for success, the only strategy for strength or influence or goodness in life isn't through masculinity. We can achieve those things through femininity as well. Femininity is a much more natural and peaceful place for most women to be. When we fit women into roles that are contrary to their natural desired state of being, it can often fill them with anxiety, frustration, and even existential dread. I was one of those women. Not all women will react that way to filling masculine roles, but many will. It's the feeling of something's wrong but you don't know what it is, or that you need to be stronger or more intense or fight harder. It's the feeling that the way you cope with life naturally is wrong. But I'm here today to tell you that your feminine instincts are not wrong. They are strong, and you don't have to be an assassin, strong superhero woman to be a strong woman. There's strength in gentleness. There is strength in the transformative power of femininity. I care about women. That's why I started this whole channel. I want women to blossom into their womanhood. I want them to feel peaceful in their natural state. I believe that femininity is transformative. It transforms everything it touches. It allows people to become better versions of themselves through its nurturing, kind, compassionate care. Femininity nurtures and encourages people as they achieve in life. The beauty of femininity is that it is a gentle and captivating presence that encourages people and draws them into a softer, more peaceful state of serenity. It is a softer and slower way of life, but it is just as powerful and poignant as masculinity. Femininity is transformative because it not only transforms the people and places in our lives, but it also transforms our very hearts and souls. Femininity, like in Beauty and the Beast, even is about transforming the beastly to create the beautiful. It's about encouraging those in our lives to be their best version. It's about loving them in such a way that they want to be better people. It's about loving ourselves and caring for our bodies in such a way that we can transform into blossoming women. Femininity transforms communities. It brings a sense of balance and harmony to masculinity. It transforms through its tenderness and gentleness, and it can make people weak at the knees and allure them unto great acts. Femininity is transformative because it plays a huge role in nurturing and blessing of people through her encouragement, her care, her kindness, and her gentle serenity. Femininity is also inspirational. Femininity has the power to inspire men to do great feats. It has the power to inspire people to achieve more in life, and it has the power to inspire incredible civilizations to be built. Beauty of femininity inspires others to to achieve more and believe in themselves, to even explore faith. In the Gospels, it was feminine women that discovered the empty tomb. It was feminine women that spread the news, feminine women that converted. Feminine women can inspire change. A beautiful example of this is Maria from The Sound of Music. She comes into that home where there is no mother or suitable governess, and she transforms and inspires the whole family. She is captivating. Maria inspires the children to be better. She inspires their father to more in life. She inspires the whole family and creates beauty within it. You can see this too, also a Julie Andrews movie, in the story of Mary Poppins, who comes into this family, and through her femininity and her instruction, she inspires others. Again, I've said this before on my channel, but femininity isn't just about being sweet, lovey person all the time. It also has an area of responsibility where we realize that nurturing something doesn't mean overwatering it. It doesn't mean giving it all the treats it ever needs. Nurturing something means being disciplinary when you have to, laying down boundaries, having rules, and having structure. Femininity is about transforming through nurturing, and nurturing is not just kisses and hugs and love. It is also rules and boundaries and structure, and we see that in the inspiring presence of Mary Poppins. Femininity brings out the humanity in other people. It allows us to view people through a state of compassion. Behind most strong men is an equally strong woman, but her strength does not come from masculinity. It comes from her inspiring presence, her transformative presence. Women have inspired men throughout history to create civilizations and to even go to war in the case of Helen of Troy. Women are inspiring. At the end of the day, one thing many men crave in their relationships with women is that inspiration and encouragement. Men crave that person in their life who will have their back and believe in them and encourage them as they go forward to achieving things in life. Femininity has the power to inspire children despite the hurdles they may face in this world. Femininity is inspiring. Finally, femininity is about creating space. I've heard before that one way to describe femininity is that it is the word welcoming. Femininity creates space for new life, even in a literal sense in the womb, but it creates space for others to blossom. But the funny thing is, the more space you create for others to blossom, the more you blossom yourself in your femininity, because you're stepping into the mantle of what femininity is. Creating space for others is about beautifying the place in which they inhabit, but also creating structures and provisions for them. You can see this in a mother making dinner for her family and a mother cleaning her home for her family. That's not a woman being a slave. That is a woman in her femininity creating space for her family so that she may inspire them, so that she may transform her life. There is a reason it is a disaster and complete loss when there is no femininity in the household, because we need that to create space for others. Femininity is about allowing others to blossom. It is allowing others to feel welcomed, whether they be guests in your home or even your own husband and children. Femininity welcomes others. Traditionally, in the past, it was the feminine women that looked after widows and orphans in the village. They would give them resources and ensure that they had a ham on Christmas morning. Femininity is nurturing because it welcomes others. By simply moving towards being a welcoming and serene spirit, you can entice many people over to your side and even attract masculinity to you. Which brings me to my next point, that femininity shines brightest when masculinity is present, because we can only focus on being compassionate and nurturing if someone else is focused on protecting and providing. Combined with masculinity, a feminine woman is free to nurture. She is free to create. She is free to make space for others. Masculinity and femininity balance each other. If masculinity and that butt-kicking assassin presence was all that mattered, those feminine traits would have died out in the human population a long time ago. But masculinity has been preserved throughout history, and femininity must be preserved as well. It's important. It is the counterpart and balance. And when we move from femininity towards masculinity, those masculine people will then move towards femininity. That's why you see a lot more feminine men in our modern world. Combined together, both the feminine and the masculine can achieve more. They can become more accentuated, more exaggerated, and more complete. One is not better than the other, but rather they are a balanced harmony. And it is the way God created the world. He created it with that yin and yang, that feminine and masculine balance for a reason. We cannot get through life without having femininity encourage us, inspire us, and create space for us. Hopefully your mother did that for you, but if not, hopefully you can do that for your children, for your family. Femininity is strong because it is the counterpart to masculinity. And if you view that butt-kicking masculinity as powerful, then you must see femininity as equally powerful. They are a perfect balance. But I will not let this video be finished or complete without saying that femininity can be toxic. I believe that masculinity in excess or absence can be toxic, but the same goes for femininity. When there is excess femininity, it can become toxic. Over nurturing something, over indulging someone, becoming too sweet, being too naive, being too gentle when you need to be strong, being too indulgent with children, spoiling people, spoiling children, hovering over them to nurture can be toxic. Femininity in excess can be toxic, but so can the absence of femininity. A person with no compassion in them, a person with no ability to nurture, someone who is cold and calculating towards their children or husband or life is also toxic. We see this in scripture. The calculating allure of Jezebel was very toxic and led to the death of many people. Femininity is not inherently good or bad, just as masculinity is not inherently good or bad. It's obvious to see the flaws in masculinity because of the physical representation in, bar fights and wars. But femininity in that relational sphere can also be very toxic. We see this in the addiction to gossip that many women have. We see this in the emotional abuse women lay on each other and their husbands. This is why I think it's more important now than ever to have a discussion about genuine and true femininity, because it can allow and encourage women to step into the positive and helpful and life-giving ways to perform femininity in their lives. Instead of feeling confused, we can begin to feel peaceful. Instead of feeling weak, we can begin to feel strong. And that's what I want for all of you. Please know too, if you are not naturally feminine, if you have no desire to be feminine and you're a woman, it's okay. You are loved. You are strong. I celebrate you. I am just here to also say those very things to feminine women, to celebrate feminine women, to give them the peace they need to be who they are in this modern world. Masculinity is not the only way to perform womanhood, okay? You can perform womanhood through femininity and not feel guilty. If you want to be a mom, if you want to be a homemaker, if you want to be traditional, blessings to you. You are being feminine and you can do that. I do believe that career women can also be feminine by adopting the traits of inspiration, encouragement, and transformation to their families. It's just difficult in this masculine world because many careers and jobs expect that masculinity out of women. Not so much areas like nursing or teaching where femininity can really shine. Femininity, I'm having a hard time saying it now, and masculinity are so important for our world, and I really encourage you above all, so if you get nothing from this video, please know that you don't have to be a butt-kicking woman to be a strong woman. God has made us equal. Praise be to Him. I am so thankful for this truth that femininity is strength. It's just a different strategy for strength than the obvious way. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked the video, please click that like button. It does help grow the community. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing and joining the feminine family. If you're interested in more of this content, please check out my written blog and my Instagram. So thank you again, and I hope you have a wonderfully blessed and transformative week, my beautiful feminine family.